Great. So question 22 on the foundation paper, or this is also question 6 on the higher paper. The table shows some of the values of y equals x squared plus x minus 1 for minus 2 is less than or equal to x, which is less than or equal to 1. Don't panic about this, by the way. This thing just tells you that you've got from minus 2 up to 1 there. That's all that means. Okay, it tells you what goes across the top of your grid. Part A, complete the table above. So what we want to do is we're going to sub in these numbers into this and then write the answer there underneath. Now I'm going to start down this end because I don't want to start with minus 2. I want to start with the easy numbers, which are 1 and 0. So what I've got to do, I'm going to do it down here. I'm going to do 1 squared, which is x squared, plus 1 plus x minus 1. So that is what I'm subbing 1 into that formula there. 1 squared is 1, add 1 is 2, take away 1, back to 1, so that's going to go there. Now I'm going to do it with 0. 0 squared plus 0 minus 1 is minus 1, so I'm going to get minus 1 there. Now, what I can do now is, if I remember what my quadratic graphs look like, anything with an x squared in is quadratic, and your graph for a quadratic would be like a kind of symmetrical smiley face like that, because it's a positive x squared. If that had a minus in front of it, it would have been upside down like that, but it's like this. Now I can use that to predict what's going to be in there, because doing all this stuff with a negative isn't particularly nice. Okay, and we are sort of further on in the paper now, so you, like, you're tired and you sat here for almost 2 hours having to then square minus 2 and add minus 2, take away all that kind of stuff. We might get this wrong. So if we have a look, we should notice here that we've got a repeated minus 1 there and there. Bottoms out at minus 1.25, then I've got minus 1, so it seems to suggest that if I do this correctly, I'm going to get 1 there. So let's check that. I'm going to do minus 2 squared. I should have put those in brackets, by the way, really, sorry, to show that I've been subbing them in. Minus 2 squared plus minus 2 minus 1. I'm going to work this out properly. Minus 2 squared, you square a negative number, it's going to go positive. If you do minus 2 times minus 2, so it's positive 4. Plus minus 2, and you're going to take away 2, and then you're going to take away 1. 4 take away 2 is 2. 2 minus 1 is 1. So yeah, I'm right, I get 1 there. Okay. So whenever you get something like this in an exam, get your easy numbers done first, and then see, can I predict what's going on underneath? Can I use that to show? Obviously, you have to remember what type of graph you're dealing with, but that, you know, it is a way of not only sort of predicting it, but then you can check as well. Does it make sense? Part B, on the graph paper below, plot the graph of y equals x squared plus x minus 1 for this. So basically just plot this table of values above that we've just completed on this grid. So minus 2, 1, minus 2, 1, got a coordinate there. Minus 1, minus 1, minus 1, minus 1, got a coordinate there. Be careful with this. Minus 0.5, minus 1.25. And minus 0.5 is here. Minus 1.25 is going to be a quarter of the way between minus 1 and minus 2. So that's going to be around about there. Okay. 0 minus 1. And then 1, 1. Okay. So we plotted the coordinates. We now need to draw the graph. Now the graph you can see there is going to be one of these. The best way to draw them is to turn your page like that so that you can draw it this way. Remember, when you are drawing curves, you want one straight line, not a collection of straight lines. One straight curve, sorry, not a collection of straight lines. Okay, so anything like that, and then you're done. Right, state part C, state the equation. It's important. Remember, an equation has to have letters and an equal sign in it of the line of symmetry of the curve. Well, hopefully you can spot that your line of symmetry is obviously there. That's my line of symmetry. So what's the equation of that line? The way to spot that is, well, which axis does it cross? It crosses the x-axis. Where does it cross the x-axis? Well, it crosses the x-axis at -1/2. So that's my equation. X equals -1/2. The reason it's that is because any point that you choose on there, let's pick that one up there, that coordinate is minus a half 2. This coordinate is minus a half 1. This coordinate is minus a half 0, so on and so forth. So for every single one of the points that lie on that line, the first number in the coordinate will be minus a half, which means that the x number is always minus a half. Right? And part D, and if you want to practice this, it's video 267C. Use your graph to solve this equals 0. Now when it equals 0, that just means you want to get it where it crosses the x-axis. Okay, so we're going to look for these points there and there. They're called the roots of the equation because it's where they cross the x-axis. Okay, and just try and read off as best we can what they're going to be. That one looks around about, that's 0.5. That looks around about 0.55 to me. Yours might be a little bit different, remember, because you might have drawn your graph a little bit different, but as long as you're reading off where you cross the x-axis. And then this one, that's going to be minus 1.5, minus 1.6, minus 1.65, something like that, minus 1.6, 0.65, and those will be my two answers. Okay, so you want where the curve is hitting 0, which means where it's on the x-axis. Right, let's have a little look at the mark scheme then. So, for part A, notice it's not particularly nice here because it doesn't give you any marks for method for showing that you know what you're doing. You just have to get them right. Right? So B2 for getting those 3 right, B1 for getting any 2 of them right. So if I got those 2 right but got that one wrong and messed it up because it was negative, I'd at least get 1 mark there. Okay? But I've got 1, minus 1 and 1, so I'm getting them 2 marks there. Part B, all 5 correct points plotted correctly and joined with a smooth curve. Right? That's what I've got there, joined with a smooth curve. Notice on this, B1, so you get 1 mark. For a smooth curve, at least through 3 correct pairs of coordinates, or for all of their 5 pairs of coordinates plotted correctly. So what that means is, if I'd have only gotten one of these things right, and spotted, say I'd have got that one right, those are the 2 that I had anyway, and I had this one sort of somewhere weird. If I'd have spotted, well, I can fit a proper curve through those points, but I don't know what the other ones are, then I'd have got a mark for that. Okay. Notice it says there as well, allow 2 marks here if curve is correct, even if there is a slip in their table. What that means is, even if you get one of these things wrong, but then spot where the curve should be going because of your knowledge of the shape of the curves, you will still get your 2 marks there. Right, right. Part C. X equals minus a half or equivalent, so you can say x equals minus 0.5 or something like that. Notice there it says equation must be stated. It has to be stated from there. And it's saying do not give it if they've done this. And can you spot why that is? Well, the reason they're saying that is because minus a half minus 1.25 is that coordinate there. And the reason they're saying not to do that is because if you just state what that coordinate is, that is not a line of symmetry, that coordinate. That coordinate is on a line of symmetry, but it is not the line of symmetry itself. You must give the line of symmetry, not just the coordinate on it. Okay, and the last part, (0.5 to 0.7, so 0.55 is fine, and minus 1.5 to minus 1.75, so that one's fine. Okay, follow through from their curve. So basically, had you drawn this curve wrong, but the examiner can see what he's choosing, where it's, you know, if yours had kind of gone down a little bit more like that or something like that, as long as you can see that it's where your curve crosses the line, you will still get those marks there. Okay, so that's that one done.